Jagardev, Jai Masters. Most people think of spirituality as something fairly weird, fairly esoteric, very unusual. And we get lots of people who write us every day who kind of ask questions from that point of view. And they get very, very confused. Spirituality is very, very grounded. In fact, it's so grounded that people miss it. The world is unfolding. It's been unfolding for 13.8 billion years. That's the truth. Science teaches it. Spirituality should embrace it completely. Why? Because this is the truth. Spirituality is about truth. It's not about beliefs. It has nothing to do with beliefs. It's about truth. So the truth is, there have been things going on all over the place for 13.8 billion years. And there is something going on in front of you. Have you noticed? When? Always. That's what spirituality is about. It's about you coming in harmony with the reality of the fact that something is going on everywhere. Always has been, always will be. Therefore, there's something going on in front of you. If there's something going on everywhere, and you're somewheres, there's something going on in front of you, right? Okay. The hardest thing that I've ever tried to teach, and I do it in Living Untethered, but I thought I was taking a big risk. What is going on in front of you is not personal. It is just what happens to be going on in front of you. Like the moment next to you that you're not paying attention to is not personal. The moments in France are not personal. The moments everywhere, the moments in Saturn. I mean, how many moments are going on? Somebody please calculate it for me. How many moments are going on? They're not personal, are they? They're just what the forces of creation came together in that moment to create that moment. And it will change in the next moment. Why? Because the forces are always changing. It's not a snapshot, it's a motion picture. Therefore, the moment in front of you is not anything. It's just where you happen to be standing. You know, like it turned to the left. Look up, look down. It is not personal. It has nothing to do with you, except that it happens to be the moment you're looking at. And the fact that that is the moment you're looking at really has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that the car broke down or this car ran a light and you say, like, how did you end up exactly where you were standing at that moment? It took your entire life to end up there. If anything had changed, if you had a cold the day before, every single thing determined where you are at a given moment. The rain, the weather. Do you understand that? You didn't do it. And every single thing that's happening in front of you took everything that ever happened. So yes, there's this chance encounter that you're standing there and the moment happens to be unfolding. Now, you know what spirituality is? Can you handle that? I swear to God, that is spirituality. Can you handle that reality? That is the moment that happens to be unfolding in front of where you happen to be standing. That's what be here now means. And you know what the answer to that question is? Can you handle it? No. The answer is no, you can't handle it. And so the study of spirituality, you can study, it is perfectly logical, that part of spirituality is science. You have every right to know why it rained on your birthday. But it had nothing to do with your birthday. It had to do with the weather patterns and meteorology and everything everywhere. So if you want to find out why it rained on your birthday, don't say, oh, why'd it have to rain on my birthday? No, that's ridiculous. That's taking it personal when it's not personal, is it? Okay, so you start to understand, I'm laying a groundwork for what real spirituality is about. Now, should you be able to handle every moment that's unfolding in front of you, your entire life is different. Every moment of it is different, right? Because all you do is complain about the moments in front of you. Instead of, I use that word, I backed into it, accepting the reality of the moment that's in front of you and accepting the reality that you happen to be standing there. Okay? If you can do that, life is totally different. It's completely different. You've changed every single thing in life for you and every person you ever interact with. Can you imagine meeting someone that can handle life? You like them one day and you come home after a bad day at work and you don't even say hello to them, and they're fine. It's just what happened. It's just what unfolded. You come out of your room after carrying on and they're happy to see you. Not, why didn't you say hello? Understand that? That's because you take it personal. And because you take it personal, you're not okay with it. And because you're not okay with it, you're weird. You do. You act weird. You do all kinds of things. I'll go forward and then I'll come back a minute. What kind of things do you do? Shh, listen. It's like so unbelievable. It's hard for me to talk about it anymore. You decide, rather than you honoring, respecting, and accepting the reality of what is going on, which is life, you decide, if I can't handle it, it shouldn't have happened. It's wrong. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't treat me like that. I should have to go in her office. I should have got the raise. You sit there and say, I can't accept the moment. What does that do? We just saw what happened if you can accept the moment. You enjoy your life. And you appreciate everything that's unfolding. Why? You get to be here. You get to experience the moment. All right? What if you can't accept the moment? You do this very, very interesting thing. You fight it. You decide that the way I want it to be is how it should be. And if it's not that way, woe be unto you and everybody else. Because I'm going to make it be that way. Aren't I? I'm going to go out there and attempt to manipulate everything and anything I can. How I dress, how I act, how you dress and how you act, what you say and what I say, and how you are around my parents and how you are there. Every single thing has to be so that the moment that's going to unfold in front of me is the way I want it to be. And it's never the way I don't want it to be. And you wonder why there's war. People sometimes say, why are there so many wars? I don't know why there aren't more. If you're going to do that, you're at war with life every moment of your life. And you're at war with everybody else. Why? Because everybody has a different concept of how they want it to be. Nobody agrees with you. We'll talk about that in a moment. All right? Seriously, you have your own concept of how you want it to be. And you think you're right. Well, so do they. They think they're just as right as you think you're. Have you noticed? What is that called? War, conflict, uncomfortableness. Okay? That's why. Because you can't handle the reality of the moment unfolding in front of you, you have to try and make it so the next moment isn't that way or is any way that you don't want it to be. And it's always the way you want it to be. How are you doing so far? I don't know. How many of you get ulcers? How many of you how many of you worry? Does anybody know what the word worry means? You know what you worry? That the moment in front of you won't be the way you want it to be, and it will be the way you don't want it to be. And by the way, you extrapolate that out way beyond the moment in front of you. Any of the moments that are going to be in front of you later, they better be the way you want them to be and not be the way you don't want them to be. Correct? You know what? You do way worse than that. In fact, this is embarrassing to even talk about. It's not just the moment in front of you or the moments that are going to be in front of you. You're not okay with the moments that were in front of you. They're already over. They already happened. You will never change them, but you're not okay with them. What does that do? Make you neurotic. It makes you unhappy. Just thinking about the past, you have problems, don't you? Why? Because it wasn't the way you wanted it to be. What if it was the way I wanted it to be? Oh, I got a picture album. How many of you guys in your Kodak moments are the ones you didn't like? No, you're just taking the pictures of the ones you do like, and you say, oh boy, I wish it could be like that. You can't handle the way it was, you can't handle the way it is, and you can't handle the way it might be. Spirituality comes to the rescue and says, my God, what are you doing? You were born onto this phenomenal planet. We've been and looked at everything else. We have probes out there. We've got the James Webb Space Telescope, and we've got the Hubble, and we ain't seen squat. Let's get this straight. I know you all like to say there must be something out there. We ain't found it. We haven't found an amoeba. We haven't found a protozoa. We haven't found anything. And you're here. When was the last time nothing was in front of you? Never. There's colors and shapes and animals and birds and fish and people of all different shapes and colors and sizes and personalities. It's the most exciting place. You know what Earth is? God's idea of Disney World. Seriously. Disney World's got pirate things. They've got all kinds of stuff going on. Well, so do you. All right? So basically, you can't drop down for a handful of years. The planet's been here for 4.5 billion, not million, billion years. And you're here for how long? 60, 80, 100 compared to 4.5 billion? You kind of drop down here in this beautiful, unbelievable place, and you leave, and you can't handle any of it. You can't handle what happened, which is none of your business. You can't handle what's happening, which is none of your business. And you can't handle what your mind makes up might happen. Now you understand what's not spiritual. That's not spiritual. And it's not scientific. It's not healthy. It's not anything. It's a major problem. So how do we get that way? Spirituality studies that. So does psychology. So does physics. But spirituality does it really short. It doesn't take volumes. How did you decide how you want it to be? I know you're very busy trying to get it the way you want it to be. How did you make that decision? Do you think you made that decision? You did not. You did not. You haven't made a single decision like that in your entire life. B.F. Skinner said it beautifully. He said, man is the sum of his learned experiences. It's not true. You are the consciousness aware that your mind, your psyche, is the sum of your learned experiences. You do notice it. That's where it got its preferences and values and beliefs. You learn them. They're data. How does a computer know anything? People put data into it. How does your mind think anything? The occurrences in front of you put data into it. Something happened, it didn't feel good, now you don't want it to happen again. Something happened, it did feel good, you want it to happen again. The trouble is, nothing lines up perfectly, right? They took your blanket, it was blue, so you don't like blue. And you met this person and they love blue. Got all kinds of conflict going on in there, right or wrong. So your thoughts, your mind, your preferences, your value system, your mind, let's call it your thoughts. Hopes, dreams, concept, views, opinions, preferences, likes, dislikes, those are thoughts. Not one of them out here. Which one did I say is out here in reality? No, they're things you make up in your mind. Except they were kind of made up for you because of the impressions that left on you with the moments you experienced. All the moments you experienced? Did every single moment you ever experienced leave these impressions on you? No. There were moments you experienced that came in, you experienced, they went right through. Like white lines on the road, like trees you drive by, like clouds in the sky, like people down the sidewalk in New York that you don't know. All kinds of stuff goes in there. You know how much? 99% of everything that ever went through your senses went right through. Doesn't mean you can't bring it back with memory. So a computer can bring things back with memory. Your mind has the ability to bring back, store things, but they don't have any juice to them. It's not like and dislike. They're not labeled good and bad, right and wrong, like and dislike. When they're labeled like and dislike, you store them. If something happened that you don't like, and here comes the magical word, what do you do when something happens outside that comes in that you don't like? You welcome it? Come on in, baby. I want to feel this totally. You do not. You do what's called resist, don't you? You push it away. You have hands in there. You have hands in there. And you keep it at a distance from you. You rationalize it, you do this, you do that, but you don't let it all the way in. You let some things all the way in. I've discussed this with you before. You do let some things all the way in. Very rare. If you love somebody with all your heart and all of a sudden they come up and you've been missing them for years and they put their arms around you, come on in. You know what you say? It touched me to the depth of my being. Ever use those words? A sunset can do that, can't it? So all of a sudden you turn the corner, oh my God, all the magenta and colors. It took my breath away. It blew my mind. It touched me to the depth of my being. I felt it was in the presence of God. Why? Because you were open. There was nothing in the resisting it. It came all the way in and touched you to the depth of your being. It literally did. But what happens if it comes in and doesn't feel good? It ain't going in there. Is it? No way it's going in there. Right? How do you keep it from going in there? It's the same experience. It's the same experience. Somebody comes in you haven't seen for years, you love them with all your heart, they come and hug you. Oh, it goes all the way in. Somebody you never met before all of a sudden comes up and grabs you and hugs you. Police! You hear me? You're doing it. So you resist the experience that came in, that life gave to you. You resist that experience. I'm sorry, every talk I ever give, I know you're tired of it, too bad. Says this, it's too bad. It's the same thing. What do you think happened to the energy of that event that came in and you resisted? It stayed inside of you. It did not dissipate. No more than when they dump. You used to think if I have a factory and I have waste, just dump it in the river, it'll dissipate. Or pump it in the air, it'll dissipate. Not quite, does it? It doesn't dissipate, does it? It builds up and causes all kinds of trouble. Same thing inside of you. If this thing comes in and you can't handle it and you use will to push it away, it stays right inside of you. And we'll talk about what effect that has. How do I know that? You know that because it comes back up, doesn't it? Comes back up in your dreams. It comes back if somebody says something. It's just, ooh, it's like, you got to make sure the stuff stays down there, don't you? I'm done with that. You want to bet? You know, when you're done with it, you're done with the white lines. You know, white lines you've driven by, they ain't coming back, are they? You know, mess your dreams up. There are all kinds of stuff, all right? And trees you drove by and all kinds of stuff. Like I say, 99% of everything you ever experienced through your senses went right through. Why? Because you didn't resist it. Because you didn't use your will, your inner hands, to push it away. Did you push the event away? No, the event already happened. That's what's hilarious. You can't change that the event happened. It wouldn't be in there if it hadn't happened. But you don't want to experience it, do you? That's the key. Now we're talking very deep spirituality. You didn't want to experience the reality of what actually happened, did you? So because I didn't want to experience it, I resisted the experience, not the event. You can't touch the event. It already happened. It's already gone. Snake went away. Person said what they said. Childhood was what it was. You hear me? All right? But you didn't handle it. You didn't want it. So you pushed it away. So when you push it away, it stays inside. You know that. You have the evidence. Freud certainly agrees, doesn't he? In fact, all of psychology agrees. So basically, you push it away and resist it, and it gets stored inside of you. And I always ask people, because you're very smart people, see, spirituality is not about belief or weird stuff. It's logical. It's perfectly logical. Logically, if I store everything that ever bothered me inside of me, what's it going to be like in there? Bothered? Well, what do I do if it's bothered? Try to have it not be bothered. By accepting it? No. No way I'm letting this in here. By manipulating the next moment and everybody that's in it and everything will ever happen to me so it doesn't touch that again. And so I have things that I want happening in front of me. That's how I deal with it. In other words, I'm not okay, so I need things to happen outside that will make me be okay. It doesn't make you be okay. It just makes you temporarily feel better. Why? Because the stuff is still in there. So now you understand reality and you understand spirituality. Well, what's spirituality? Get it out. I'm serious. I'll go to the end real quick. Don't put any more in. And let go of what's already in there. And where do you see what happens? Where do you see what happens? That's the essence of spirituality. You don't have to get weirder. You don't have to, it's got nothing to do with meditation, nothing to do with gurus, nothing to do with anything. Those things can help. We can talk about that. Those are techniques for not putting more in and letting go what's in there. But the whole journey, the whole kit and caboodle is, if you store and have stored everything that ever bothered you inside of you, you're going to be bothered. And no one wants to be bothered. That's why you pushed it away to start with. You don't want to be bothered. But what a stupid thing to do. You kept it inside, didn't you? What's a traumatic experience? Something that happened to me that I couldn't handle, so I pushed it so far down inside it's running my life. If you're not able to let it go, and it's really strong, and it really is bothersome, then it's going to bother you forever. It's going to make a foundation of your life. Avoiding it will make a foundation of your life. So basically, spirituality is about not putting any more in and letting go of what's in there. Imagine, we talked about what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be like if you don't do that. You're going to be scared. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be neurotic. You'll be fighting with everything. You'll be scared, won't you? You're scared. Don't look at me. You're scared. You're scared that your boyfriend will leave you. You're scared that someone will die that you need. You're scared that your house will burn down. You're scared that you're running out of money. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. You're scared. And you're not scared because you managed to have insurance and manipulate everybody and everything so you feel better about being scared. And so the question is, do I have to live like that? No. No, you do not have to live like that. Spirituality is about not living like that. Spirituality is about, I'm free. Free to do what I want? No. Free to accept reality. Free to enjoy my life. Free to enjoy the unfolding of life. Free to become in harmony with life. Guess what? Right now, because you're not okay, you're a taker. Ooh, that's an insult, isn't it? You're a taker. You need everyone to be the way you want them to be. You need everything to be the way you want it to be. You need to make sure nothing happens that you don't want. So you're out there fighting and struggling with life to take what you need, to make it be the way you want. When you're okay inside, you're not a taker. There's nothing to take. The moment's unfolding. You appreciate it. You honor it. You respect it. Guess what you end up being? A giver. Why? Because you don't need anything. You don't need anything. You're fine. You're whole. Imagine having no problems. You have no problems inside of you. None. No problems inside of you. And you know you can handle anything that's going to unfold, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. No matter. Whatever it's going to be, I'm fine. Well, I guess I'm fine. I don't need it to be a certain way. I don't need it to not be a certain way. I'm fine. I honor it. I respect it. I'll die when I die. I won't die when I don't die. I'll be rich when I'm rich. I'll be poor when I'm poor. That's very Zen. I told you last time. There's a whole deep Zen thing, which people don't understand Zen. It says the following. Imagine going to a great Buddhist master, teacher, whatever they're called, and you're there, and he says, grasshopper. Flowers are red, water is blue, grass is green. Go away. What does that mean? Just what we've been talking about. Things are what they are. That's what it means. There's nothing to contemplate. You have to think about it. It says, did you notice? But I don't want the flower to be red. Okay, you're in trouble. I don't want the water to be blue. Okay, you're in trouble. Go to war. Go fight. Go struggle. Don't enjoy life. Don't appreciate life. Don't respect life. When you come to the point that you're okay inside, and we will discuss, because I don't care what you think, you can be okay inside. And okay is way beyond what you think it is. We'll talk about that, right? Okay is not just non-negative. Okay is not non-negative. When you stop storing that junk inside of you, you're going to find out there's some real beauty inside of you. There's beautiful love and beautiful light and rushing energy and rush of holy water, as the Bible calls it. It's beautiful in there. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you shoved all this junk on top of it. What happens if I put garbage in the environment? It becomes polluted. Well, you shoved garbage into your inner environment, and it's polluted, isn't it? Okay? So that basically you come to the point where you understand it's all about cleansing. It's all about understanding, why am I doing what I'm doing? Not why is it doing what it's doing. I quoted you last time. Rumi, you all have heard of Rumi, very famous Persian poet, very beautiful, beautiful soul, very respected nowadays, even in the West. He had a saying, he had a little poem. It said the following: yesterday I was clever, so I was trying to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. Okay? You change the world all you want. The next moment there'll be a new one. If I make you treat me the way I want to be treated, I'm busy next time I see you. What have you been doing? Who'd you talk to? Did they tell you something? I have to worry about it, don't I? You said you loved me. What was I wearing? Should I wear it again? No, he'll think I'm wear the same thing all the time. Ever be afraid of blowing it? Okay, so there's just, because you need it to be a certain way, you're at war with the world. So what Rumi was saying is, you can go about and do that, but you're not going to get anywhere. Nobody's ever gotten anywhere. They just cause a lot of trouble for everybody else and for themselves. If you decide that you understand, it's me. The problem is me. What do you mean? I can't handle reality. That's a problem. If you can't handle the way things are, of course you're not okay. So maybe the work is not trying to manipulate them so they are the way I can handle. Good luck. Maybe it is checking yourself out and seeing why you can't handle reality. You're the highest species on the planet. You're supposed to be survival of the fittest. Adaptability. That was Darwin's key word. Adaptability. Are you adaptable? No, I can't handle reality. I can't even handle what people think about me. Forget what they do. That is not adaptable. That's neurotic. So you end up fighting. So in steps spirituality, deep spirituality. The deep stuff, the Zen, the Buddhist monasteries, the yogis in the mountains. What they find out? I'm messed up. Why do you think I had to go to the mountains? I was living in the city and I got to go to the mountains because I'm crazy, man. All right. And what did they find out? What did the Buddha teach you? First, he checked out, met all these people, went around, studied stuff, and he came back and said, you know what? Everybody's suffering. Rich people are suffering, poor people are suffering, old people are suffering, young people are suffering, women are suffering, men are suffering, sick people are suffering, healthy people are suffering. They're all got a problem. Why? Why is everybody suffering? He asked a deep, deep question. I love teaching you this because nobody teaches it this simple. That was the first noble truth of Buddha. All life is suffering. He wasn't being negative. He was being observant. Okay? People are having trouble, aren't they? All right? Then the second noble truth was phenomenal. He went and he studied and he fasted and he meditated. He did everything. He killed himself. And he came back to where the other monks were and everything in the city. And he said, I've found the answer to suffering. And they said, we already knew the stupid answer. Why'd you go do all that? You know, old age and people are dying and people are sick and people are poor and poverty. And come on, man. He said, no, there's one answer. One answer why everybody is suffering. That's pretty phenomenal, isn't it? How can there be one answer why everybody's suffering? And you know what the answer was? Preference. And you have to contemplate that and understand what he said was, if you have a way you want it to be, you will suffer. It's generally translated as desire, but what is desire? That's a strong preference. Right? The great ones, the great patriarchs use the word preference. Why? Because you think desire means lust. You think desire means extreme wanting something. And you say, well, of course you're going to suffer if you do that. No, desire means preference, doesn't it? Desire means you have a way you want it to be. And Buddha was, you don't have to accept this or be that way, but that's pretty deep. You want to know why? Because he's right. You didn't have a preference about the white lines, therefore you didn't suffer. You didn't have a preference about the trees you drove by, therefore you didn't suffer. I tell the story. What if you were a white line painter and you weren't paying attention and the paint dribbled, okay, and you got fired? Now you have a preference about white lines, don't you? They're supposed to be straight. How come he didn't get fired? Every time you drive by a white line, that one's okay, that one's not. Oh, look at that. I ain't gonna... See? You now have preferences about the white line. It's true of everything. If you don't mind getting old, you don't suffer. If you don't mind dying, you don't suffer. If you don't mind that sometimes the body gets sick, every life some rain must fall. If you don't mind that your business goes under, you have to get fired. You got to go find another job. It's bad enough that you lost some finance, you have to do it, but it's worse if you're not okay with it. You can have fun looking for another job. You can be excited to see what's going to happen next, can't you? Not if you have a preference. I'm going to say it again to you. This is very deep. If you have a preference, you suffer. The third Zen patriarch, I love quoting this. These are the deepest writings ever written in spirituality. The first line is all you need. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. What's the great way? Full enlightenment, total liberation, nirvana. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate, which means like and dislike, are both absent, everything is clear and undisguised. Make the slightest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. To set aside what you like against what you dislike is a disease of the mind. Isn't it? Right? The world is nothing but atoms. Which atom do you like? Which quark or lepton or boson do you like? You know, down to the subatomic particles. You look at me like I was crazy. Well, that's what's here. The Buddha was right. Your mind has done this. Your mind has decided what I like and what I don't like. How? Based upon the past experiences that when they came in, you, the experiencer, welcomed them, or you, the experiencer, used your power of will to push them away. And you ended up building this ego. You ended up building the self-concept. I'm a person that likes this. I'm a person that doesn't like this. I'm a person that has to have this way. I'm a person that blah, 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 blah. You built a whole thing. Give me the creeps. You built a monster. You built a monster inside your head that said, this is how I am, and this is what I like, and this is what I don't like, and if it's not that way, I suffer, and it is that way, I'm happy. So get to work. Well, the Buddha taught something deeper to me. That was the second noble truth. He was a man of very few words. Takes me a lot of words. First noble truth, all life is suffering. Got it. Second noble truth, cause of suffering is desire. Preference. Got it. To end suffering, end desire. Oh, come on, Buddha, man. Well, 1 equals 1, man. I mean, or better yet, 1 minus 1 equals 0, all right? Emptiness. So basically you come down to that is spirituality. It's not Buddhism. The deep ones all taught the same thing. Mayor Baba said, man minus mind equals God. What does that mean? It means that your mind is keeping you from the higher states that you're capable of. Because it's very busy with its preferences and very busy trying to get its preferences and busy fighting with everybody. It's very busy. So spirituality is the path from neurosis to peace. It is the path from resistance to acceptance. Now, just because I know your mind has trouble with this, does that mean I don't do anything? That's what you think acceptance means. No, acceptance does not mean that in any way, shape, or form. Acceptance means non-resistance. I'm not resisting. Just because you're not resisting doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Something's coming your way, and you honor it, you respect it, and you interact with it. But you don't interact with it because you like it or dislike it. Like and dislike are a sickness. You interact with it because you're there interacting with it. That's be here now. Be here now means you don't have forces inside of you that are not honoring and respecting the moment that's unfolding in front of you. It's able to come in, and then what do? You interact with it. By all means, you interact with it. So let's say I'm filled with love, because you all like relationships. That's the hardest one for you guys. I'm filled with love. Why are you filled with love? Because there's nothing blocking my love. When you feel love, it's inside, isn't it? You feel love inside, or rushed up inside. It's always in there. It's always in there. The greatest love you ever felt is going on inside of you at all times. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're closed. Well, how come I feel it for her? Because she opens you. I guarantee if she closes you, you don't feel love. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with you. You're closed. If you're closed, you don't feel the energy flowing. If you're open, you feel the energy flowing. I said if you turn the corner, all of a sudden there's a beautiful sunset and it just blows you away. Not always. If your girlfriend left you and walked off into the sunset, and you turn the corner 4 years later, oh, how'd you remind me of that? That's what's going on in there, isn't it? You stored this stuff, and so you're blocked. And you have all these triggers that something will open you and something will close you based upon your past experiences. And somebody said, well, of course, that's logical. It's not logical, it's absurd. The world is unfolding, you should be able to handle it. And then be open to the moment that's unfolding in front of you. That's be here now. Be here now is you have nothing in you that would make you not be here now. The now is all that's real. There's no other moment in the universe but right now. It is reality, but there is for you. There's all the stuff that happened before that you can't handle. You live inside your mind with that junk. There's what might happen that you're afraid of. You got that junk. And there's the moment in front of you that you can't handle. Okay. If you were to clean out, you would interact with the moment. It doesn't mean you don't interact. So what would a relationship look like? I just want you to know once in your life. What would a relationship look like? You're filled with love. Well, why do I need a relationship? You don't. But it's nice to share the stuff. You feel all this love pouring inside of you. And you see somebody and all this love flows out toward them. You don't need love. You share love. And what if they're doing the same thing? That's some nice stuff. Nobody's expecting anything. Nobody needs anything. It's not a fulfillment of a need. Fulfillment of a need is a dangerous situation. I'd rather sit on dynamite. Because it's not going to always fulfill the need, is it? And that ain't okay for me and it ain't okay for you either. If somebody comes up to you and says, oh my God, I've dreamt about you my whole life. I've never felt love like I'm feeling now. It's unbelievable. I need you so much. Run. What, are you crazy? There's something wrong with that person. I haven't felt love their whole life. And they see me, what I'm wearing, my cologne, I don't know what the heck it is. And I don't want to know. All right? Because whatever it is, it could go away. You hear me? No. You're filled with love. Why? Because you're open. You're open. You're open. I tell you all the time, if you wave your hand across your heart, love pours out when you're open. It just pours out like water, pouring out of your being. Lasts as long as you want. All right? That's who you are when you're open. Well, why am I not open? I told you, because you closed yourself with all this stuff that you couldn't handle. You shoved everything that ever bothered you on top of your love. It's another thing. I won't get it right. It's another thing Rumi said. It's really beautiful. It is not for you to seek love. It is for you to seek, find, and remove the obstacles you have put in your way. That's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? The love is there all the time, but you blocked it with all this stuff you stored in there. So basically, you finally wake up and realize, okay, so I said to you, I gave it to you. It is not that you're renunciating. You don't renounce anything. It's not that you leave the world. You don't. Anything. It's ridiculous. Why would you? What's wrong with you? You have to leave the world. You're fine. You're filled with love. What you need to do is leave yourself. You need to leave that part of you that you built inside that's blocking you. Then you interact with the world. Of course you interact with the world, but not based on your preferences. Because then you're distorting everything. You brought your past into the present with your preferences. Because all your preferences are the sum of your learned experiences. They have nothing to do with what's happening now. So you get to the point where you understand it's not that you don't interact, it's not that you don't have children, it's not that you don't get married, it's not that you don't have money, it's not that you don't work. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the motive of why you're doing the things you're doing. That's what Lao Tzu meant by the Tao. You're in harmony with reality, not in harmony with yourself, and then expecting reality to be in harmony with you, which is exactly what you think. Do you understand that? It's wrong. He should not have said that's wrong. I understand, based on his mother and the blankie and all the everything, is exactly what it is. If you program the computer, he'd say the same thing. But what you mean is it isn't the way I want it to be. And it's supposed to be the way I want it to be, right? Reality is supposed to be the way you want it to be. Wow. He has some learning to do. Reality wins, and you have to look and see why you're not okay with reality. And then you interact with reality. You don't not. And you're going to find out it's a whole different universe. It's just basically you giving, serving, participating, harmonizing, doing whatever. I've told you before, the highest life you can live is that every moment that passes before you is better off because it did. You ain't getting higher than that. Every moment. Not just these big important things. Just every moment. You're here, you're clean, you're filled with love, filled with Shakti, filled with joy, spirit, and the moment is passing by. And you smile at it, give it a kiss on the head, you raise it, you keep your mouth shut when it needs to talk. Whatever it is, it's better off because it passed by you. When you live a life that 20 years later, you're out there shopping somewheres, and someone comes up to you and says, you changed my life. You don't know anything to talk about. Well, I don't know. I was coming out of a car and I almost fell in New York and everyone was ignoring me. And I know it was you I saw, and you just gave me a hand. And that restored my faith in humanity. One moment. Every moment that passes before you is better off because it did. You can't do that. Why? Because you need the moments to be the way you want them to be. That's why I say you're a taker. You're trying to manipulate people, places, and things so that they don't bother you, so that they get you higher. So now we have just laid the groundwork for the spiritual path. It is the journey from here to there. It's a journey from where you are, which is lost in your stuff, because you collected all this stuff, to the clarity, to a sense of total well-being so that you can serve reality and handle everybody and do everything. How do you do that? It's pretty obvious. If the problem is that you stored all this stuff in there, everything that ever bothered you in there, and so now you have to manipulate and control to make sure the world fits you, then the answer is to get that stuff out, is to let that stuff go. So the path is whatever your path is that assists you in handling the moments that are unfolding in front of you so you don't put more in, and being able to let go of the stuff when it comes up. There, that's your path. I'm not going to tell you your path. I don't teach that stuff. There are plenty of meditation teachers, plenty of yoga teachers, plenty of all kinds of, you hear me? Somebody once told me that there's a line in the Bible that said, each man is within himself his own path. Like St. Paul said that or something like that. Each man is within himself his own path. Of course you are. You got your own stuff in there. It may turn out that a relationship is exactly what you need because you closed down with your past relationship and blah, 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 blah. It may turn out the relationship is the last thing you need because you're grabby and pulley and you need to learn to get along with yourself before you have a relationship. It's different for everybody based upon what you got stored in there. But there are some common threads. Here's one. You ready? It's the first thing I teach. If you can't handle the small stuff that is coming in front of you all day, you will never be able to handle the big stuff that you stored inside of yourself from the past. In other words, if you can't play the scales, you ain't playing Beethoven. If you can't practice tennis with a tennis coach, you're not playing Borg or Serena Williams. You got to start with your practice. You start practicing stuff. It's the same thing here. Practice handling the moment in front of you. I dare you. They don't understand how real that is. There's a driver driving in front of you, driving 20 miles an hour below the speed limit. You pull out to see if you can pass. Not a chance in the world. How are you doing? Have you ever talked to the driver in front of you? The driver in front of you does not hear what you're saying. You are bothering yourself about something you can't do anything about. Therefore, you're messing yourself up. I guarantee you, by the time you get to the office and get home, you're in a bad mood. How can the driver in front of you, there's millions of cars and millions of people, billions, and you're sitting there, can't handle, for 3 blocks he's going to turn, but you can't handle it. Maybe that's where you start. That is the equivalent to learning your scales. You need to learn to let go. You need to learn to not store this stuff inside. That's what letting go means. It happened, I can handle it, it passed through. Congratulations. But you can't, so learn. But don't start with the big things. When I was young, this happened. I'm sorry. I can't help with that. These things happen. You weren't able to handle them. You stored them inside. You haven't learned a darn thing throughout your life about how to handle things. You still fight everything because of that. The only thing I can teach you is if you start with the small stuff, the next thing will be easier. If you do the scales, then twinkle twinkle's a little easier, or chopsticks. Doesn't mean you'll be a master pianist or a professional tennis player, but you'll have fun. You'll be able to handle things. Come on, let's go play. And so you have to do this with your spiritual growth. You just start looking at life as an opportunity to learn. An opportunity to learn how to let go. Not how to make it be what you want. But you still go about your business with the big stuff. You got a career. People say, well, I can't have a career. You have whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But at least start with where you're bothering yourself about things that doesn't do any good to bother yourself about it. So the temperature, the weather. You can't control the weather. There can be times you're outside, it's hot. There can be times you're outside, it's cold. There are times you need to get out of the car, it's raining. Can you handle that? Handle it means you're not bothering yourself about it. So you start practicing that. To me, that's the highest spiritual path. Right there, every day, every moment, you're a conscious being, you catch yourself. Well, how do I do it? My experience is, there's this word called relax. It is the antithesis of resist. If you resist, you're not relaxing. You're putting out energy and muscles and tension to resist. If you relax, you're not resisting. Do you see the difference between those two? It's like if you're doing yoga posture and it's tense and it starts to hurt, and you resist it, it gets tighter, doesn't it? If you relax into it, which is what you're taught, you're not resisting. So the opposite of resistance is relaxation. So what happens? The driver in front of you is driving that way. You start feeling the resistance. You can feel it. You start seeing the stuff. The mind's going. The heart's pumping. Stuff going on. Relax. Now, here's the first thing people misunderstand. They think I'm telling you that the part that's getting tense and resisting should relax. I am not. You can't make that part relax. You can't make anger not be angry. You can't make jealousy not be jealous. You can't make fear not be fearful. It's its nature. But you can relax in its face. You relax. Don't make it relax. That's just another fight. Anybody listening? You're in there, aren't you? You're experiencing the tension. You're experiencing the anxiety. You're experiencing the resistance, aren't you? You're hearing the thoughts. Why is he driving like that? I'm in a rush. Come on, man. He should be in the right lane. You're hearing all that. You relax in the face of that. That is spirituality. Why? Because if you relax, you gave it a chance to pass. If you fight with it, I can't believe I'm getting angry about this. I don't want to get angry anymore. You're angry about getting angry. No, you understand. You've built these things inside, and they're going to express themselves. It's a problem. Later, they won't be there. Don't worry. Later, now where there's anger, there'll be love. I guarantee you, it transmutes. Why? You're not blocking it. What is anger? Blocked energy. Shooting out. What is love? Unblocked energy coming up. All right? So basically, you learn, and a very deep thing I taught you, you're not fighting with yourself. If you're fighting with the world, then you decide, okay, Rumi's right. I should change myself, not the world. Why am I like that? I can't believe I'm like that. I guess this doesn't work for me. I can't. That you just move the fight from out there to in here. No. You're in there, aren't you? Hello? You do notice it's getting tense in there, don't you? Who does? You do. Don't describe it. I don't want to define who you are. You're the consciousness, the awareness. You. I like to call it you. The self, the Atman. I don't want to use names. You. Anybody in there? You're in there, aren't you? Okay. And you notice it gets weird in there. You relax. Don't try to make it relax. That's the great breakthrough. You realize I can be okay when she's not. She's being silly. He's on the phone talking to somebody, and she's saying, who's he talking to? Why is he talking so long? And all the jealousy's coming up, all this fear, right? Relax. No, relax. But no, I didn't ask you to relax. It has the right to be neurotic. It's just the way it is right now. It won't stay that way. If you can handle it, and you can relax and let it go, then what was causing it to be that way, the fears of your youth and different stuff you collected, will have an opportunity to pass. Not right now, but it's okay. I want to know, not can you handle life, can you handle you when life is unfolding? Can you handle your inner state, which is reacting to life based upon your past experiences? Can you relax? Deep enough for you? That's the ultimate of spirituality. Relax. And what's going to happen? At first it's hard. What's going to happen? It's going to come closer. Why? Because you're not pushing it away. I don't want it to come closer. Yes, you do. Because you don't want to carry it for the rest of your life. That driver in front of you is driving. Okay, man, they have the right to drive the way they want to drive. I am not going to bother myself or participate in the part of me that has the habit of getting all uptight because of how the person is driving or because of how the weather is or something like that. I'm going to relax. I promise you, you just keep doing that. Just keep relaxing. Because then you're not participating in the resistance. All right? Yukteswar, Yoda's guru, very deep, these are deep enlightened beings, said the following: an ignored guest quickly leaves. I just taught you that. If you can relax in the face of it, you gave it an opportunity to express and pass. You don't get into it. You don't run away from it. You don't fight it. Just relax. It's called relax and release. I call it R&R. It's better than a vacation. Relax and release. What does that mean? Relax and release it as it comes up. And you're going to grow so fast. You're in there raising yourself, working with yourself. And then what happens is you get good at it. Good at what? Handling the driver in front of you. Handling the fact that it's hot. All right? Then something's going to come up, either by itself or something will hit. Stuff gets hit. It'll start to come up and you realize, I can handle this. Why? Because I practiced. I practiced with the little stuff. I call it low-hanging fruit. And now I can handle this. Now what? That's wonderful. Right? Somebody said something to me. Let go. Let go. Wait till you see. And your whole of your ego thinks they'll walk all over me. They will not. It's judo. When they come at you, just bend. You know what they say? In a heavy enough wind or hurricane, the oak tree falls down. It happens here all the time. The blade of grass doesn't. You bend, and they fall over you, and it passes. And so basically you start learning how to let go so you don't have to fight everything. You don't have to have ulcers, but you still interact. You interact. But now you can really interact because you're interacting with energy. You're interacting with passion, with inspiration, not with anger or fear or jealousy or need. That is not a good interaction. Fair enough? All right, you will do better at every single thing you do. They tell professional athletes, okay, it's the bottom of the ninth, you're the last hitter. No, don't think like that. Make believe you're out there in the sand lot. They literally do that to professional players. The coach tells them, go out there. It's just a sandlot game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I want you to play like you'd play that way. In other words, be loose. Be open. Be able to handle the situations that are happening. Don't get in there like this. You're not going to be able to do anything. The same thing is true with every moment of your life. You can do way better if you don't have this garbage in front of you and carrying around you. And all these fears and anxieties and needs and everything. And so basically that is the spiritual journey, isn't it? So I said it's not non-negative. Non-negative would be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice just to be non-negative. You can wake up in the morning excited to wake up, right? That's not what happens. What happens is as you let go of that garbage inside, all of a sudden you realize there's beauty in there. Every beauty you ever felt was inside. It's always in there. You're blocking it. And then you're hanging out with your blockages. And all of a sudden, it will start rushing up inside of you. I guarantee you. You start feeling these waves of energy, of shakti, of joy, of inspiration, of passion. That's what's in there. You're going to say there's a river of joy flowing inside. Find it, go there, get in and drown. That's what yoga is. The word yoga means union, merger with that river. Just fall completely. That's what nirvana is. Just completely fall into that river of ecstasy and see where it came from and where it's going. So even the higher spiritual states, which you all see as mystical, they're not. They're not mystical. They're just unblocked. And there's no end to how high you are. You're the highest thing ever walked the face of the earth. Why do you start exploring the higher states? All right. There. Now you understand spirituality? It's not weird, is it? You basically wake up and feel the joy, feel the love. And at some point, it will be so beautiful that you won't trade it. I want to see you then. When you get to the point that you've worked on yourself enough and you found that beauty inside, and all of a sudden somebody says something to you, they insult you, and you have a choice. Give up the love and fight with the insult, or let it pass. Let it pass. All right? It's like Christ said, it was said unto you an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. Let it go. If you resist evil, you've married evil. You're sitting there making your life be about evil. That's not very high. There's always going to be things. There's going to be jealousy, be fear. Who knows? Who cares? Your position is, okay, fine, come on. Pass through. Pass through. I'm not keeping you in here. Ain't fighting nothing. Now I can bring the whole of my being and serve the world. Serve what's happening. All right. I hope that helps you understand spirituality more. Jai Gurudev.